We have an unprecedented move made by the feds less than a week ago, and I wanted to cover this story when it first came out, but I'm going to share it now. And then we also have a follow-up to the Parkland shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. I'm going to cover both these topics in one fairly short video, but this first topic that I'm going to cover is, listen, this is the type of thing that the mainstream media won't talk about. This is actually a Forbes story here, and I think you'll find it fairly interesting because anyone who is who is concerned about the security and safety of your information here in the United States will want to hear this. Now, I got asked the other day why I did so many gun stories and or why I had so many topics about guns. And to be honest with you, this is not really a gun story. So don't take it as such. What it is, it's an informational story about your information that you may have had compromised. And the feds are asking for this information from Apple and from Google. Actually, I'm asking for it. They're demanding it. And I don't think as of the time this article came out, what's the actual day? So this was on the 6th. This was 3 days ago. This article came out 3 days ago. And this is really big news when we see these types of moves being made by the feds. So this, and then I'll get to the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, and I have been communicating with just a little bit with one of the fathers whose daughter was killed during that shooting, and I think his stance on what happened is pretty incredible. And I think as an American out there, you probably want to hear this because he doesn't have the stance that the mainstream media keeps telling us that everyone has. So this first one, exclusive. Feds demand Apple and Google hand over the names of over 10,000 users of a GunScope app. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to read two of these. Wish I could read the whole thing. I can't. But 2 paragraphs here. According to an application for a court order filed by the Department of Justice on September 5th, investigators want information on users of Obsidian 4, a tool used to control rifle scopes made by night vision specialist American Technologies Network, ATN. So I happen to be a distributor for ATN, so I know who they are. And if you're a night hunter, anybody who's hunted at night for pigs or anything else or coyotes knows who ATN is. If you're not, it's okay, but it's just a night vision scope. The app allows gun owners to get a live stream, take video, and calibrate their gun scopes from an Android or iPhone device, according to Google Play page for Obsidian 4. It has more than 10,000 downloads. Apple doesn't provide download numbers, so it's unclear how many iPhone users could be swept up in the latest government data grab. If the court approves the demand and Apple and Google decide to hand over the information, it could include data on thousands of people who have nothing to do with the crimes being investigated, privacy activists warn. And the story goes on to really talk about privacy. So I'm here to talk about security. And pretty much every single thing that we devote our lives to here at Security All-Star is related to the security behind what goes on. And we need to feel secure that our private information is, in fact, going to be held like it's in a vault. So they're demanding, it's over 10,000 just from one of the iPhone or from one of the phone manufacturers. So as an American, I don't know if you may not care like me. I would say, well, I'm not committed no crime, so it's really not that big of a deal if they want to download the information. But what is that going to turn into for future requests or demands for information? If, for instance, you think you ought to have access to anything scripturally based, and the government decides that, well, we don't think that you in California can sell it because they just passed a law that says basically they can't teach anything that is anti-LGBTQZ, ABCDR, whatever it is, then what happens is they can go demand the information from you to find out where you follow it. Now, is that a stretch? I'll let you decide. Is that a stretch? Perhaps so. It's a stretch today, perhaps. But this is big news, folks, that them doing a grab for the information of these 10,000 users. Now, here's something else. I'm going to share this with you. So February 14th, Valentine's Day last year, there was a horrific shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. I happened to be interviewing somebody during the shooting. We didn't realize it was even on the TV behind us as we were setting up for the interview. And during that interview, we specifically were discussing active shooters. And so since then, I've had a little contact with Andrew Pollock. I'm not exactly sure if that's how you say his last name, but he is the father of one of the young ladies that was, her name was Meadow. She was killed during that horrific incident. And so there was a number of things that we were fed by the media about what happened with Nicholas Cruz, and that they really didn't have a chance to pick up on the fact that he was a potential criminal. Then we found out, well, they really did have a chance to pick up him out to the home several times. But what Andrew Pollock shared with me today, and what I have read as a follow-up to that, is that not only did law enforcement have multiple opportunities to see that he was a problem, but that also he had over 15 different notes here that I read regarding his high school that he should not have even been integrated with regular students because they were so scared of him. He was caught masturbating at school, drawing pictures of dead people. The things at school that interested him were usually around death and gore. The teachers, some of them said that he didn't have a normal reaction to murder or a normal reaction to death and gore like some students have. And so as I look at this and the article, I go, there were plenty of notifications prior to that. Doesn't mean that I'm in favor of red flag laws. What it means is that the people who are in the positions of authority at that point really didn't follow through the way that they should have followed through. There were already things in place where this young man should not have had access to the things that he had access to. And I'm not gonna yet tell you that you need to read the book, but Mr. Pollock, Andrew Pollock, has written a book. Mine isn't on order. It shipped yesterday, and it's called Why Meadow Died. It's by Andrew Pollock and Max Eden. I think Max Eden helped edit the book. But it outlines and gives the reasons and gives the incidences and everything that happened as a prelude to this shooting, what happened during it, all the information that should have been readily available to parents based on the little overview that I'm reading here. My book should be here tomorrow. But I can't recommend it as a read yet, but I'm certainly going to read through it. We have plenty of opportunities in this country to stop criminals before things happen. Again, I'm not in favor of red flag laws. I think we already have laws in place that help us know if there's a problem. We already have assault laws. We already have things in place if somebody is mentally deranged or mentally ill. But I'm going to read the book. I'm going to share it with you and continue sharing things that I think are of a security concern to you. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out to me, message me. SecurityAllStar.com is going to continue to provide information not only about products, but also about things like this, which are a violation, I believe, of your information and your rights. And I hope that Google and Apple will say no, but they haven't had a chance to respond yet. I'm sure the courts will give them 30 days, something like that. But in the next 30 days, we will know. We'll know what the outcome is. And when I read the book, when I read Andrew Pollock's book, I will do a review on that as well. And my condolences still to his family. That was a horrific shooting at that school. Y'all have a great day, and we'll be back with some more news.